Imagine a world where success isn't just about talent and hard work, but also about who your parents are. Nepo babies or individuals who benefit from their parents' connections often face study. But are they also at fault for their parents' corruption? While Nepo babies enjoy advantages, holding them accountable for their parents' corrupt actions requires careful consideration. It's unfair to blame Nepo babies for their parents' actions as they didn't choose their circumstances. Children aren't responsible for their parents' choices. For example, many celebrity children pursue careers independently. Some Nepo babies work hard to prove themselves, like Maya Hawke, who has carved her own path in acting. Holding someone accountable for something they had no control over is unjust. Nepo babies should be held accountable when they directly benefit from their parents' corruption. When Nepo babies use their influence to bypass merit-based systems, it fosters inequality. Consider cases where family connections lead to unethical practices such as preferential treatment in hiring. Addressing systemic issues that allow Nepo babies to thrive on corruption is crucial for fairness. We've explored the arguments for and against blaming Nepo babies for their parents' actions. While Nepo babies enjoy advantages, holding them accountable requires careful consideration of their direct involvement in corruption. Let's strive for a society where success is based on merit, not just connections. And how can we ensure fairness and accountability in a world of privilege?
Jaini said in her speech that success today isn't only about talent and hard work, but often about your parents. She explained that while Nepo babies enjoy advantages, it is unfair to blame them for their parents' corruption since children aren't responsible for choices they did not make. So for example, Maya Hawke worked hard to build her own career. However, Jaini also stressed that Nepo babies should be accountable if they directly benefit from corruption, such as using influence to bypass merit-based systems. And she ended by reminding us that true success should be based on merit, not just connections, and challenge us to think about how we can ensure fairness in a world of privilege. Good day, everyone. Today, I want to talk about an issue that continues to affect many young people and is very rampant these days: poverty and how it impacts student schooling. Poverty is not just about lacking money, it also means lacking opportunities for students. This often becomes a heavy barrier in their education. First, poverty limits access to basic school needs. Many students cannot afford uniforms, books, gadgets, or even internet connection. Some struggle to pay for transportation or go to class without proper meals. These challenges make it very difficult for them to focus on learning. Second, poverty creates stress and forces students to make tough choices. Instead of studying, some have to work to help their families survive. This affects their performance in school, and in many cases, it even pushes them to drop out. So in conclusion, poverty continues to block many students from reaching their full potential. But education is a right that everyone deserves. Together, we should find ways to support and uplift students so that poverty will never be the reason why dreams are left unfulfilled. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Sherwin took about an issue that continues to affect many young generations and very popular nowadays. It's poverty and how it affects on our study. Poverty is not just about having not enough money, it also means limited opportunities and a heavy barrier in our education. First, poverty limits access to school needs. Many students cannot afford basic needs, and some struggles to pay for transportations or go to class without meals. This make them difficult to focus on studying. Then, poverty leads stress and forces students to make tough decisions. Instead of studying, some choose to help their family. Overall, poverty continues to limit many students to reach their dreams and ambitions, but education is everyone's desire. Together, we must find ways to support and help students so that poverty will never be the reason why dreams and ambitions are unfulfilled and unreached. Thank you. Good day, everyone. Did you know that corruption costs the billions of pesos money in our country every year? Money that could be used for schools, hospitals, and roads in every provinces. Corruption in its many styles, from bribery to nepotism, is an endless problem. Today, I want to talk about how this hopeless problem broke our trust, hinders our progress, and deepens inequality. Corruption broke the very foundation of society, which is trust. When officials demand to what we call political dynasty, it leads to bias making of laws. How can we trust our government when elections are manipulated and voices are silenced? This breakdown of trust leads to a dangerous selfishness, where people lost interest and faith in system and stop participating in making our community better. Corruption leads our economy dead. It drove away investors, making it harder to create jobs and opportunities. Instead of building quality infrastructure or providing adequate healthcare, public funds are run off, leaving us with low quality services. It's the poor and marginalized people suffer the most, trapped in a constant cycle of poverty because the resources meant to help them are stolen. Think of the schools and flood controls that could have been built, the medicines that could have been bought, all lost to corruption. Overall, corruption destroys trust and governance, and it comes at a high and economic social cost. We cannot stand by while corruptions and crocodile leaders continue to torture our society. I encourage you to support anti-corruption demands transparency from our leaders and promote honesty in their daily lives. Together, we can we can combat corruption and build a sustainable and peaceful country for all. Thank you.
Raquel says that the issue of corruption in the Philippines emphasizing its devastating impact on trust, economic stability, and social equality. It points out how corruption undermines faith in governance through practices like bribery and nepotism, leading to biased lawmaking and manipulated elections. Economically, it deters investment and diverts public funds, resulting in poor infrastructure and inadequate services, which disproportionately affects the poor. The speech urges listeners to demand transparency from leaders and promote honesty to combat corruption and foster a more and just, prosperous nation.